This task requires that you wear gloves and goggles. Alright, we're at room 158, where the T5 gets its beauty sweep. This is the T5. T5 is basically a glorified mop. It's got a scrubber on the front that sprays out water and chemicals and scrubs the floor, and it has a vacuum system in the back for sucking up that water. When you want to use the T5, if it's been charging overnight, what you need to do is unplug it and wind up the cable. It also has had this opened to keep it from getting hot. There's a little latch down here that you should get with your close with your hand and close the dirty water tank, and then latch it closed with that. Turn on the T5 with this key. Takes a couple seconds for it to warm up and get ready. It'll click, and then these lights will turn on. Then it'll be ready to drive. To drive the T5, you use this lever like a lawnmower. You pull it this way, and it goes forward. Unlike a lawnmower, when you push it the other way, it will go backwards. If you pull it more, it drives faster. If you pull it less, it drives slower. This knob can be used to adjust what your maximum speed is. If you want to go faster, you turn it that way. If you want to go slower, you turn it that way. So that's how you drive the T5. Alright, before we begin using the T5, we need to fill it up. This is the lid to the clean water tank. I like to put in about 2 squirts of this stuff, helpfully called the cleaner. It's corrosive and can be dangerous, so be real careful with it when you're using this stuff. I just put in 1, 2-ish squirts, right? And then I will fill it up with water using this hose. This clean water tube shows how full it is. I usually do about 30 liters, but it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Usually we don't even go through 30 liters, but I just put in about 30 and call it good. As you're filling this, you should know that the clean water tank holds more than the dirty water tank. So if you were to use the T5 for a very long time, you would need to empty the dirty water tank before the clean water tank would run out of water. Now that the T5 is full, I'm going to put this lid on it and take it out to where we're going to clean the T5. You'll also need to attach this wiper blade to the vacuum. You just unclip this hose, put this on there, and you use these screws. They hook into this thing. Screw it on there, and you're ready to go. Alright, so once you have your machine ready to begin cleaning, what you do to turn it on and get it going is you push this button, and the head lowers, and you drop this bar. That turns on the vacuum, and you can drive around. As you're driving, the head will slowly lower and then begin to scrub. Come on. There it goes. Now it's scrubbing, and the vacuum will suck things up. You drive around, cleaning the floors. As you're driving around, if you happen to get stuck in a corner, right, and you need to back up, you should turn off this machine and lift up your vacuum. The wiper head doesn't do so well trying to back up, right? The head will raise up, and you can back the machine up and keep on doing your thing, right? Lower your head and vacuum away. As you're driving and as you're using it, if you turn off the vacuum, right, and water starts coming out of this this dirty water drain, you just need to close the lid tighter, because the vacuum keeps water from leaking out until then. Also, These adjust how much water it uses and how much scrubbing it does. Alright, so when you're done using the T5 and you're ready to start putting it away, one of the first things you need to do is remove the squeegee. It needs to be cleaned so it doesn't leave streaks on the concrete. There's a clip right here you can use to keep your hose from dangling and dragging on the ground. You get this wiper. If you get some shine line and a rag, you can wipe down and clean this blade. Try and get all the rubber and stuff. This will help keep any streaks from getting left in the concrete and make it so you can use the T5 in areas that are not so oily, like these hallways, right? Once you've cleaned this wiper blade, you're going to leave it aside for now. We're going to go outside with a bucket of water and empty it out there. Alright, once you're ready to empty the T5, take it out here. We're draining it out here because there's metal shavings in our dirty water, and we don't want to clog up the drain inside the building. So when you empty this, you get your dirty water drain, right? Unscrew it. I'm doing it up here so that I don't get any water pouring out of my hands yet. And then you kind of quickly lower it down, let the dirty water drain up. While that's draining, you can also empty out the clean water thing. And this one you have to hold down with your foot so that it can drain without just sitting up there on top. So that's how you drain it. Once it's done draining, you can put away these hoses, screw this lid on, hook it on there, get the clean water hose, attach it there. Now there are some metal shavings still left inside of this machine that need to be rinsed out. This is what the clean water bucket is for. And you just try and use this bucket to remove some of the shavings left in the tank. Oh, and while you're doing that, you should actually leave this open so that shavings can come out. There's a few. Also, make sure that this is still attached properly. It can get knocked loose. This needs to be on to help protect the motor from getting water. This T5 has an intake filter that's right here. If you unscrew this thing, it comes out and you can just kind of pull it out this way. This is used to keep large particulates from getting into the dirty water basin. This needs to be cleaned every once in a while, otherwise it gets full and the vacuum doesn't work. So usually what I'll do is I just smack it around inside the trash can, try and knock loose any particles, which kind of works. You got to be really careful when emptying this because you can cut yourself on these metal shavings. I also will try and rinse it out with water. But it's difficult to clean. Sometimes I just have to get some mechanical scraper, like a screwdriver, and just scrape along the inside of this to try and get as much of these holes open again as I can. When you're done cleaning this tray, it just slides back in here, right? Get the post up there, and you screw it back on. The T5 also has, in addition to this cap, and another cap down here to access the clean water tank. This one you need to open because there's a filter right in the inside here that should be cleaned every so often as well. When you're putting away the T5, you can put the squeegee in the dirty water tank. We've backed it up into room 150A. You turn the machine all the way off using this key. If your battery's low and you need to charge it, you can get to this cable and plug the machine in. However, the batteries in the T5 get hot when it's charging. So you need to pop this latch and lift this dirty water tank will rotate up. And it has a latch down here that drops just from gravity to hold it a little bit open. So if you just lift up this tank, this black latch drops down, and that allows a gap for the batteries, for airflow to happen, and for the batteries to keep cool. That way, battery acid doesn't get leaked all over the floor. Okay, for my first tip when using the T5, the wiper blades are oftentimes too wide for the doorways, and they'll scrape against it. So one thing you could do is just remove the blade and drive through and put it back on the machine when you get through. But you could also do this tip. If you drive this machine and line it up so that this isn't very good alignment. There. So that the middle of this machine lines up with the rightmost kind of third of this door, such that the side of the machine is pretty darn close to the edge of the frame. You can drive your machine up so that this wheel bumps against the door first and starts to twist the blade, right? Like that. So now that the blade is starting to twist, you can see I'm getting enough of a gap to get through without scraping against the door frame. And then you can push through without having to take your blade off. And this saves you from scraping against the door frame, which happens sometimes. Alright, another tip when using the T5 is that you can turn actually pretty sharply with it. You just give it a little bit of gas and push it in the direction you want it to turn. You can pretty much get it to rotate just on its axis without ever having to move around that much. One example of this might be if you wanted to key in this corner. You can drive the T5 right in here and make the turn. And get all the way through, get all the way in here and out without having to back up. Third tip when using the T5 is adjust your speed while you're driving. If you get in areas that are tight and don't have much room, slow down. It'll help you a lot to not bump into machines. And in areas like the hallway where you're just trying to get from one location to the other fast, turn up your speed.